Hey Rough Guts, Adam Stanchek here. This week, I'm gonna do something a little different. So, I wanted to have this conversation and I was gonna do it through a movie review, but then upon rewatching the first Rough Cut video, which was like the introduction to what we are supposed to be, I don't see any rule that says that we have to actually do a movie review. We're supposed to just talk about cinema and rant and inform and critique or praise. I wanted to have a conversation about acting. Now, I'm not an actor, not at all. I mean, I've been doing YouTube videos for a while, but anything that, it's just me vlogging. But I feel like I do have a certain degree of expertise in film. And like I said, that's mostly through like the dealing with consumers and selling films. But I've been a film enthusiast for a long time. So, from my point of view, I want to discuss what is good acting. Everybody has their own actors that they like or they hate. Like there's certain actors that people just, they can't watch something that they're in. And there's also like certain actors that are universally accepted as like a good actor. Now I know that many of you are professional film actors and you're going to hate what I'm saying. It's like, for me, I don't know, like I'm not a professional musician, but I do play music. And sometimes I don't like it when people who don't play music critique music because it's like, you're not playing music, you don't know. So I feel like I'm like a person who, doesn't play sports, who's doing like a sports cast. But at the same time, I'm an avid film fan and I'm an enthusiast. So I feel like I can at least talk about it. There's actors like Daniel Day-Lewis who, for anybody who likes film, typically people are going to be like, Daniel Day-Lewis is like the best. I hear that all the time. And Daniel Day-Lewis is a fantastic actor. He does method acting, which if you guys don't know what it is, it's where he like gets so into the character that like he becomes that character in his real life and doesn't change anything. Like he tries to be as true to that character. And they like, in their mind, they actually think of themselves as the character and like they make sure that they don't do anything that's like not the character wouldn't do and stuff. And so typically like people think of method acting as like the best kind of acting. Now, I think it's really good, and I saw Gangs in New York just recently, but this is not a Gangs in New York review, but just recently for the first time, and I thought it was really interesting to have Leonardo DiCaprio and Daniel Day-Lewis kind of squaring off, because DiCaprio is a good actor who makes a lot of money off of his movies and is in a lot of movies, and is just overall accepted and like by society as a good actor. He's someone that we like. And then there is Daniel Day-Lewis, who, like, if you'd say that the average person who doesn't really pay attention to Hollywood or movies that much, you talk about Daniel Day-Lewis, and many people don't know who it is. I mentioned it to my dad just to try to prove this point. I'm like, do you know Daniel Day-Lewis? And my dad's like, I don't know who that is. And my dad watches movies, so I feel like there's a huge chunk of the population who you say, like, oh, I saw the Scorsese movie, or I saw Judd Apatow, and they're like, I don't know who those names are. I watch movies, but I don't know who those are. And for those people, I feel like the Daniel Day-Lewis style of acting maybe isn't so prestigious. I was trying to think of somebody who I think is just like a really good actor, and I think of somebody like Tim Robbins. But then I'm thinking like he's such a good actor that sometimes his amazing acting takes me out of the scene. Like he steals the show so much that you put him in a scene and it's like, that's Tim Robbins and he's gonna act his ass off. And I feel like Alec Baldwin, he overacts, but like in certain roles, he can just be so amazing that it's like, wow, that dude owns it. Like, people who can steal the show. And Daniel Day-Lewis does that for me. He's so good, like, in My Left Foot and everything, like, he's so good that it's distracting how good he is. I'm not trying to say anything from these really good actors. I'm not trying to say anything bad about them. But I think there is something to be said about the actors who maybe they don't play as wide range of characters. Like, they're good actors, but all their characters are kind of the same. And that goes like for the Leonardo DiCaprio or the Tom Cruise or like the Will Smith or like people like even like, and you say like these people have kind of somewhat journeyed away from their normal character. I think the core of most of their characters are all typically like the same kind of person. But that doesn't bother me because I feel like it's good skill casting the right person for the right role, You're looking for this certain kind of character. You're looking for like a Michael Cera type of character, so you would cast Michael Cera, or that Jesse Eisenberg kid from The Social Network. You want that kid, you got a couple people who you can use. Jesse Eisenberg doesn't seem to be too far from the characters that he plays, but I think he did a great job in The Social Network. I think that it was fantastic. So I think that it was like a little bit of like pick a kid who can do that role, but I think like they're like him being neurotic in the roles that he is, because he's a little neurotic. That's his character. I feel like he does good because he gets put in the roles where he gets to be that. And like Tom Cruise is a crazy guy. I know that you love Tom Cruise, Rob, but he's crazy. He's a crazy person, but he's always put in a role where he's like a little eccentric. And I think like even in like Collateral, where he was like the bad guy and it was a different role, or like in Tropic Thunder, Tom Cruise played like a different character, but he still got to be like his little crazy that he is, and it worked out well. Like he can do those roles because he has that in him. I feel like there's actors who can play like a lot. Like John C. Reilly, he's a great actor. You can put him in a serious role and he does a good job. He was in Gangs of New York and he did great in that, and like he did not stand out too much. It was not like distracting. It wasn't like this, oh, John C. Reilly's acting it up, but he just played the roles good. And then he can be really goofy in like Step Brothers or Talladega Nights, or he can be in that show on Adult Swim. So I feel like he's really good. And like Philip Seymour Hoffman I feel like he's diverse because he was in that Along Came Polly, and it was funny, but he's good in everything. So there are actors who I feel are good because they can be different characters. I feel like acting is about like making us believe that you're that person or that person exists. To me, as the consumer, I feel like that's what it is. And so even though there is like really good acting where it's like these people can play any character, I don't know, like people hate Will Ferrell. They think that Will Ferrell is stupid and that he distracts them in any movie. But I like a lot of his movies. And then I feel like he does have a little bit of range. But I feel like putting him in that Elf character, from Elf, like the buddy from Elf, or putting him in Anchorman, I feel like he can make me believe that this doofus exists. That like for whatever reason, and they're not the same doofus. They're different doofuses. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's actors who can do that. Like Jim Carrey, I think, is a really good actor. I think that he started off doing sketch comedy and doing really stupid stuff, but I think that like in The Truman Show is good, and like they're able to make you feel like these people are really feeling the emotions that they're doing. I don't know. So people, they discount actors because they don't seem to have range, or for whatever reason the actors bother them. Bad actors are people who I feel like are not believable to me. Like I don't feel like they're really going through whatever emotions that they're doing, where I don't feel like they're the actual person. But most of the time, by the time people are in movies and stuff, I feel like they're doing pretty good. Better than I can do. I couldn't like fake that I was getting shot right now. I probably could. I'm not going to. But you know what I mean? So this is not like a critique on acting. This is more like a critique on people who critique acting. I think there is something to be said for the people who only play a certain kind of character, because just because you don't have a lot of range as an actor, if you can really pull off that one character well, and you can change it, just for the different stories, I think there's a lot of value to that. Of course, people who are method actors, craziness, like Christian Bale lost all that weight for The Machinist. Did you guys see The Machinist? Man, he was so thin, it's like insane. But like, yeah, that's cool that you can do that and you can become that person. That's amazing. I'm gonna have to cut this down. I mean, like this, I guess this would be classified as a rant on acting. But like John Lithgow in Dexter, in that season of Dexter with John Lithgow, he felt like a villain to me. And sometimes I feel like his acting is like too like stage acting. It feels like it's a play. But I still feel like they use him appropriately and they put him in roles where like either his comedy seems like, for a sitcom I think stage acting is fine because it's like you're in front of a live audience, so you're kind of stage acting. But like for most movies it doesn't work out, or for like a show like Dexter. But like I still felt like his character in Dexter was really good. I respect him as an actor. I think that these are really talented people. So for me, good acting is not about just being able to have a huge range and being able to play any person in the world. Like Sacha Baron Cohen, who is like I think he's a good actor. I don't care what you guys say. He's a good actor. He can believably be all these completely different characters. But at the same time, I think there's something to say for like the Tommy Lee Jones, I think he's a great actor. He doesn't have the range. He has to play Tommy Lee Jones. It has to be something with law and, but still good. Bad acting for me is like Chuck Norris. That's bad acting. Or like Steven Seagal. They're not all action guys who are bad actors, but it's people who can't make you feel the emotions. Not people who don't have the huge range, but people who aren't convincing that what they're trying to pretend is happening is happening. So guys, I don't know if you'd prefer me to do only movie reviews. But I wanted to get away from it this time because I realized that I'm following some guidelines that never was set in place. It was I was following status quo of only movie reviews being done, but that's not what this channel was founded on. So if you would just prefer me to, Adam, talk about specific movies next time, I will. So if you want to talk about what you guys think makes a good actor or a bad actor, let me know in the comments. Also, if you would prefer me just to do a movie review next week and not get off track ever again and talk about not a movie, you let me know about that in the comments too. And I will see you guys next Thursday.